Wondery Plus subscribers can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free right now. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
And welcome back to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Thank you so much for joining us as always. I'm James Pietragallo here with my co-host
Jimmy Whisman.
And we are so excited to be with you. Couldn't be happier to be here. Some really exciting stuff this week. First of all, would like to thank everybody for listening. And we had a good week. Everybody, a lot of listeners this week. A lot of UK listeners this week.
Surprising.
Which is, we got a lot of Ireland hit us up big time.
Thank you.
Yeah. So for that, we are going to do a soccer player, UK soccer player this week.
I love
it. Gavin Grant. It's a really, really interesting story. A lot of fun. And for you American football fans that were maybe waiting for Ryan Leaf, don't worry. We have a special bonus draft day episode this week coming out on Thursday. It's going to be Ryan Leaf. So you get 2 episodes this week, one UK football and one American football. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Both no doubt shitheads.
They're both shitheads, idiots, big time idiots, completely different types of idiots, though, which we'll get into, which is a lot of fun. First of all, please also rate, review on iTunes because that's super important. Thank you guys for doing that, and please just take 30 seconds and do it. It helps us out tremendously.
Yes.
So if you enjoy the show, give us a little love there. And that said, it's time.
Let's do it.
Let's get into the idiot of the week, shall we? All right, our idiot of the week is Gavin Grant. He is from London, England. He was born in Brent, England.
Very British-sounding town.
It's a very British-sounding town. It's Gavin Ronaldo Grant, from Brent.
Right.
He was born the 27th of March, or we'll say 27 March for our UK people out there, 1984. 5'11", little black dude. Little black English guy. That's the thing, guys, and this is funny to us, because this story really, really, is about the kind of what we would say is like the ghetto, over there, like the projects, our bad areas. It's about London's projects and ghetto type of things, and their street crime trade, which is awesome because from America, first of all, we apologize for fucking up. We're gonna mess up soccer shit because we don't know it.
We're gonna mess up your crime too.
We're gonna mess up a lot of shit
because I picture a lot of
shit about your culture.
Yeah, I picture a lot of pickpockets in their favela.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this is a favela story. This is a favela.
I picture them stealing
situation.
pocket watches and apples.
Yes, that's what we picture.
That's what I picture.
We don't picture
British gangster
street crime.
Right.
We're Americans. We get street crime.
Yeah,
that's our thing.
Yeah.
Believe me, we are
pretty good at
top notch at street crime. We have given that to the world. We invented organized street crime.
Yeah.
Okay, we understand that. But this is
and if we
different.
if we didn't invent it, we damn sure perfected it.
We did.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is too. Another thing. These guys are all black. So
weird.
From Americans, that's so weird because the first black British person we ever saw was Lennox Lewis. And we were just like, what the fuck hell is going on here? Did I have a stroke?
It's so weird.
Who is this guy?
Why is that black man talking with Oliver's voice?
What is going on? That's how ignorant we are to the whole thing. So obviously there's more cultures there. There's blacks, there's whites, there's everybody there. So we're just complete idiots. And
also, too, Disney is huge here. That is a huge influence in children's lives. And a lot of their accents are British. A lot of English accent gets into our Disney movies.
No black guys.
And there are no black guys in Disney movies. So we apologize that we realize that there are black people in every culture.
No Monty Python black guys. Right, we have very limited amount. A lot doesn't get over here, guys.
Mainstream British shit here it's not a lot. It's all crooked tooth white people.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
I really like the In-Betweeners. You guys, thank you for that, guys. I love that show. But I mean, a lot of other stuff, TV shows. I like Spaced. I like, I like a lot of
Senior Royal Family, all white people.
Yeah,
it's very.
I don't get it, but yes. All right, let's get into this guy. Let's see here. He basically grows up in an area called Stonebridge.
All
okay,
right.
this is like I guess like the projects, like you would say, like the Marcy projects or something, Queensbridge. There's something like that. This is Stonebridge. It's in Brent, northwest London. Okay,
Right.
this is where he's from. Stonebridge started out as housing for like industrial workers.
Okay.
There's an ice cream factory right by there. The Walls Ice Cream Factory used to be there. All the industrial workers work there. So it's kind of like we used to have. This is kind of like, picture this like Cleveland or Detroit.
Pittsburgh or something.
Detroit.
Yeah.
This
All
is
right.
Detroit.
Yeah, that
People
makes
are there
sense.
for the...
Lots of union workers.
Yeah, people are there for the factory work, and then the
Right.
factories close and leave, and what happens to the people left
Falls to
behind?
shit, man.
Shit falls apart. So shit fell apart, industry moved out, area became super dangerous, unemployment shot up through the roof because there's no jobs around anymore.
Pickpockets were everywhere.
Pickpockets, a lot of it became a like migrant area. So like Detroit or New York, parts of Brooklyn, places like that, where a lot of foreigners came and people, and they were getting
It's
into
cheap
the
and affordable housing.
Yeah, and they were exactly.
Right.
So they start at the bottom, whatever. So and a lot of the drug trafficking started. Obviously, violence spikes up with all this drug. Anytime there's drugs, there's going to be violence.
Don't be out after dark.
It was called, in an article that I read, a, quote, lawless no-go area of poorly lit alleyways and concrete walls.
God, the British are so good with words.
It sounds...
That's gorgeous.
They made it sound beautiful. They really did make it sound
That sounds like
nice.
Hollywood.
Yeah, we just go, that place is a shithole, isn't it? Look at it. And this is like a beautiful poem about a shithole.
Yeah.
It's really impressive, I gotta say.
That is a toilet town, and everybody, they make it sound
It's a tire
gorgeous.
fire, and they make it sound wonderful. So drug gangs are fighting for control of the crack market there, which is, crack market, you got to control it. You can't let the crack market control you. You have to control the crack market.
That's brilliant.
It's a place that's so bad. In 1995, then Prime Minister John Major canceled a speech that he was going to make in that area for fear he'd be shot.
Good call.
He's like, I think I might get shot over there, because that's
Sounds
the
like a
other
great
thing.
place.
The British are, when there's what they keep calling gun crimes, like it's in all the articles, it's gun crime, gun crime. Guns are a big deal there. Like if you commit a gun crime, because guns really aren't allowed, that's like kind of a huge deal. So that, whereas here it's like gun crime, of course. What the hell other kind of crime is there? Yeah. Everything's a fucking gun crime,
right?
Because everyone's got a gun on them at some point. So
very easy to get them.
Exactly. And like we're going to be hearing a lot from this guy, Detective Inspector Steve Horsley.
God, that's so cool. There are no inspectors here.
No, there's no inspector.
Sounds
that
badass.
sounds wonderful, doesn't it? Yeah, it sounds like he's got a magnifying glass.
And a monocle.
And a monocle. He sounds very classy. Yeah. Sorry, sorry, UK.
Right.
Like I said, we're going to fuck everything up. You might hear a couple offensive accents.
Going to ruin your culture, but we picture your detectives having pipes and monocles.
Lots of tweed involved in the situation.
Lots of browns in their clothing.
Basically, it's just like 1938 Sherlock Holmes movies is what we're going off of
Lots
here.
of beige.
We have very little knowledge of your culture. Some, but not a lot. We're really bad at this. So stick with us. Yeah. We promise.
We're going to make caricatures out of your fucking...
We're going to go over some crime, and we're going to make it funny and try not to insult you too much. But we're going to hear a lot from Detective Inspector Steve Horsley, because he's involved in this whole case, and he has some awesome quotes. I love this guy just for his quotes. He said about the Stonebridge area, quote, "You couldn't go from one estate to the other because different gangs ran it." So everything was, if you go from one building to that building, now that gang, it was big towers, basically. And nowadays they've knocked it all down, but back then, big like tower type things, like on The Wire. These were the high rises.
Yeah.
This wasn't the low rise. These were the high rises where, whatever. That's what this type of thing was. The rival gangs are vying for control. The Jamaican gangs there that are, doing the importation of the drugs, and they have a lot of control.
It sounds fun.
The prosecution called it, hold on one second here. Okay, there we go. There's an Operation Trident, is this gang... they call it a gun crime, black on black investigation, gun crime. Like, it's very strange.
Operation Trident.
Operation Trident is the police officers thing, and they're the task force on the Metropolitan Police that's going to be. They do a 6-year investigation of the area. Gavin Grant falls into this, and this is how we come to this. We have to give you all this to let you know what this is all about, because it's interesting. So Grant is a great athlete as a kid.
Okay.
Really good athlete. Kind of could have avoided this, and almost did, because he's a good athlete. He signed. Now here's where we're going to get into terms that I don't understand at all. And I looked up and I still couldn't find shit.
Right.
And I was guys, honestly, I tried so hard with this, because First of all, there's a lot of like slang and words and things like that, and legal things that we don't have that you have. Even though our legal system's kind of based on yours,
right.
It's still like the UK system. It's still kind of like
it's a little loosey goosey.
We don't know certain procedures, so I'm looking up like English law procedural things. I'm trying to find this. So, like, certain soccer things slid by the wayside. Like, he was signed to quote, and it has to be a thing because it's in quotes in these articles, schoolboy terms.
What the fuck?
I don't know what that sounds like, an agreement to let someone molest a child. But apparently schoolboy terms is when you can sign a child to play soccer for a team. Because he played for a team called Watford, W-A-T, Ford, at age 14. That was kind of like a foot in the door of the whole thing to move up in the soccer world.
It's like your parental signature for like allowing you to work. What do they call that? Like a work release for children?
Permit. Yeah, a work permit, except this is to play soccer.
To go early, right.
This is okay over there. And it's kind of like, I guess they do it in America and Canada with hockey kids when they're 14 years old. It's weird. So he's let go by the age of 16. And I mean, he had at 14, he's playing soccer,
2
so
years
things are
played,
looking good.
right.
Kind of not hanging out with the group, with the neighborhood shitbags, you know what I mean? He's doing his thing. He's got a future.
Played 2 years of, what is that, semi-professional?
I guess. If I knew what schoolboy terms were, other than this kid's getting diddled, save him, please, I would tell you. But I don't know. So hopefully some of our listeners, if you are UK people, you can shout that out to us, what the hell schoolboy terms are. And please tell me it's not molestation. I don't know. But so he's let go by 16, so now he has to go back to
Shittown?
Back to Shittown, USA, back to Stonebridge, back to the
Shittown, UK.
Shittown, UK. Did I say USA? Yeah. It's so just ingrained in us from Main Street, USA, and Disneyland.
Back to Toilet Town.
Back to Toilet Town. Rather than playing soccer, now he takes a job at Tesco, which is like a supermarket there, I believe. It's a chain of supermarkets. So
now he's working at Fry's, bagging groceries and shit?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of
chasing down carts.
UK wife swap, and they go to Tesco get shit for food. Anyway, so yeah, he's kind of just hanging around. You know, you can see him with the carts outside, just miserable.
I used to be somebody.
Kicking a rock,
I could have been a
contender.
It's a
ball, you know what I mean? As he wheels the carts back to the store, things like that. He starts hanging out with a guy named Damian Williams. Damian Williams is about 6 years older than him.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's bad right away.
Yeah.
You know that's going to be bad. But heavily influenced by him.
Of course.
He's a big personality. Yeah. Gavin is an impressionable kid too. He wants to be a part of something.
And a 16-year-old looking up to a 22-year-old, that's a big deal.
Exactly. And he wants to be a part of something, Gavin. He tried soccer. He still wants to be a soccer player, but I mean, I think he needs a team environment, basically. And whether it's a team or a gang, he's going to find an environment that suits him with this. So they're all doing this. Basically, this is what the prosecutor said about the area and the whole deal. This is what they said during the second trial. Third trial, sorry. There's a lot of trials we're going to go over. This shit gets deep, Jimmy, I'm telling you. Prosecutor says, quote, attitudes and standards are different. This is about Stonebridge. It's more the law of the jungle than the law of civilized England.
Jesus.
You will hear about and see people whose behavior will probably disgust you and make you wonder if there's any hope for the human race.
What the fuck?
So that's like... And
this is a 16-year-old that's looking up to a 22-year-old surrounded by all that shit.
But this is what we're talking about. Yeah. This is the whole deal. So we got to keep that in mind. The law of the jungle, more the law of the jungle than civilized England.
Good grief.
Which, yeah. So anyway, eventually they clean this all up after this is going. We'll get to that. Stonebridge, they put like 225 million pounds into which is a shitload of money, into a renovation. They knocked down the towers, and the
government gentrified the town.
They gentrified it. Yeah, they knocked it down. They made smaller buildings. They have park areas more lit. So now, so they made it, and it's a nice area now. Yeah. Like the residents are saying, it's transformed beyond belief. And quote, this is such a British statement that I loved it. Quote, prostitutes and junkies are no longer ubiquitous. Isn't that nice and British and clean and shiny? I love that so much. No longer ubiquitous.
They washed him up and sent him out.
That's the first bad English accent of the episode. More to come, guys. They actually, and like the British government, like touts it around the world as like an example of how you can clean up an area. Yeah, like look, you dump a shitload of money in, you spread it out, you make it nice, and you got something.
We got the whores and drugs out of here. You can too.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so he starts playing soccer in 2005. Okay, now he gets back into this. Now, this is after this incident we're going to get into here. Okay. But this incident doesn't come back until later. So let's just do some soccer, and then we'll go back and double back on the incident. Okay.
A little bit of sports.
Starts playing in 2005 for Tooting and Mitcham, which sounds extremely British.
Yeah.
That sounds like Tooting is a guy, like a tweeted guy, and Mitcham is like a redheaded man who's bumbling.
Yeah,
and,
sounds like two lawyers that drink tea that own a soccer team.
That's exactly what it is. In South London, he scored 10 goals in 16 matches for them, which is apparently very good. Sounds good.
Impressive.
Sounds impressive.
Yeah.
Attracted interest from higher leagues for that. Ended up in his career, he played for Millwall. He played for the Wycombe Wanderers, Gillingham, and Bradford. And I guess they're all in League Two.
Yeah.
And did some research there. I guess the Premier League is like the A League. Yeah. And then it goes down to like, there's another league, and then there's League One and League Two. And this is like the fourth tier of soccer leagues that he's in most of this time.
Lots of Fords and Hams in there.
Yes. We're doing that. So he's not a top guy, but he's like, and I guess that's what they do. They kind of work their way up if they're not a transcendent talent. You know what I mean? And guys can work their way in. Peter Taylor, who is the coach at Wycombe and Bradford, and Bradford had him at the end when he went to his final trial. I believe he was also the coach of the English national team for a while, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure he's a silver-haired, middle-aged white gentleman, though. Fucking positive about it, because listen to this quote. First of all, I love this one. He's got bags of potential. That's bags.
Bags of it.
I picture shopping bags.
That's awesome.
He's got bags of potential, and he's a good finisher. He's got an eye for a goal, and he's quick. He's an athlete, and he will get better. So, I mean, that's a top guy that's saying this guy's
reviewing
something.
him very well.
He's something, and he's going to be something. In his career, he plays. Well, I'm going to get into the dates later on, but total in his career, he has 88 appearances in games from 2005 to 2010 with all those different teams, and he has 21 goals in 88 appearances.
It's pretty good.
I think
Sounds
that's good. It's
Sounds
about
like one every four games. It's not bad.
Considering most of those games are like fucking 1-0 or 2-1.
Right.
Seems like that's good. There's a lot of other guys running around spaced out a lot. That seems good. It's, I don't know.
You guys can tell us, but that sounds pretty good to me.
That sounds good. Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and say he was decent in whatever he was playing. We have no fucking idea, though. Please feel free
Likely
to correct us.
serviceable.
Now, this incident here, Gavin he's playing in 2005. 2007, he is put on trial for murder.
Wowza.
Okay? He's put on trial for murder in a 2004 series of incidents. And he's put on trial for murder. He's acquitted of this murder.
Right.
Okay? He's acquitted of this murder, but it's going to come back. So let's get into the whole deal of what happened, and then we'll go down the time road here. We start out with his buddies here. We have Gavin Grant, obviously. His partners in this whole thing are these are the co-defendants, Gareth Downey, which another extremely British-sounding name. I know no one named Gareth in America. And Damian Williams. Gareth Downey's a year younger than Gavin Grant, and Damian Williams is the guy he's looking up to.
Okay.
He's 32 years old, 6 years older than Gavin.
32 years old.
At the time of this trial that's going on, that went on later. At the time they're convicted.
Gotcha.
He's 32, Grant's 26. Okay. Basically, Williams is the one who is said to have kind of talked these guys into this crime that happens. Right. Okay, he was the one who pushed them in. Starts out with a guy named Romaine White. Okay, Romaine White is Damian Williams' cousin and Gavin Grant's best friend. Okay, he is robbed. Okay, he has a motorcycle accident outside of the home of another gang member, not in their a rival gang member, but they all grew up together and know each other. Okay, a man named Leon, quote, Playboy Labastide. So Leon the Playboy.
You don't fuck with.
No, you don't fuck with Playboy. So Playboy looks like a little dude from his picture. He looks like a child. Like, it's funny. He looks like a miniature. Like, he looks like he has like Gary Coleman disease and he can't grow older. It's really fucking weird. So old Playboy here, Romaine White wipes out his motorcycle right in front of the dude's house and messes himself up good. Like, he sees he's going to go to the hospital. This guy, Labastide, gets an idea. Playboy says to himself, this guy's going to be away for a couple of days. I know he's got a little drug business.
Yeah.
I think I'll go rob his house.
Oh, no.
He rounds up a posse, heads over to dude's house, to White's house, and they end up stealing 20,000 pounds in drug money.
Holy shit.
So they get a little cash haul. Now, in the house at the time, there's 4 women in the house that are Romaine White's his sister, his girlfriend.
When they rob the place?
When they rob the place.
Holy
some other
shit.
16-year-old girl that we'll talk a lot about later.
All right.
And, 4 women. They see this happening, and they take a dive out of a first-story window. First story, they're on the first floor.
Okay.
They take a jump out of the window for fear they'll be killed by this drug gang that's coming to steal money.
Right.
Now, this is an indictment of the UK right here. They fall from a first-story window, and 2 out of the 4 girls have broken legs.
Holy shit.
Guys, drink some fucking milk. You guys need some calcium in your diet, dude. Like this, I don't know the state of your dairy industry.
You guys eat fish and chips, don't you?
But for the love of
protein,
Christ,
though, isn't it?
get some calcium.
Seriously.
Cheese has calcium.
They have calcium pills. Get on the internet.
We have all these commercials to send, money to starving children in Africa. We need to send dairy products to the UK. That's
First
what I
floor,
want to
they
do.
jumped 3 feet out of a window.
3 feet, broken
Broke
legs. 2 of them. Not one maybe had a weak bones or like
50%
early
of the
onset
girls.
osteoporosis. 50% of them broken legs.
Unbelievable.
That's terrible. So at this whole thing, at this robbery, Williams is incensed. Damian Williams is losing his mind. They robbed his cousin. He's freaking out. And Gavin Grant's pissed too because that's his boy. It's his best friend. He's like, all right, this is
broken legs and shit.
This shit ain't going to happen. Gonna happen. We're going to figure out what's going on here. So they... Now, this robbery, the police say that there was 30 total shootings related to this robbery.
Wow.
That this robbery sparked throughout the projects, man. It was like this shit went crazy. This started a war.
Retaliation,
This started a war of retaliatory things here. Now, okay. Now we'll get into Labastide first. First here. He was an old friend. He used to eat dinner over Damian Williams' house. The Playboy would eat dinner over Damian Williams' house, his mother's house, when they were younger.
Right.
They grew up together. They apparently found it, quote, very disrespectful that the robbers carried guns during the robbery. That's impolite. Now, gentlemen, when you rob a house, you don't bring weaponry. You politely ask for the person's possessions.
Politely demand.
If they're any kind of gentleman, they will hand them over to you. That's the way.
And if they don't, you get to fisticuffs.
So that's the way we picture a British robbery. You politely ask, and they're a gentleman about it, and they give it to you, and then you go on your separate
I'll get
ways.
that back later.
I'll get that back later.
Right.
The world will provide me.
You're going to pay for that.
And that's all. So basically, these 3 accomplices, they get together now. We're talking about our 3 guys.
Right.
Our Downey, Williams, Grant.
Our bad 3.
Our bad 3. They start getting... They round up the guns.
Yep.
They put on their motorcycle helmets, and they go out and looking for these people. The motorcycle helmets come back big later because they do this on motorcycles. A lot of these guys seem to ride motorcycles.
Yeah.
That seems to be the way
A lot
to
of
get
scooters
around.
and motorcycles out there. I know that.
So they get their motorcycle helmets on. They go looking for Labastide. They find him.
Cobblestone streets.
Rattling. Just their taints are on fire. Just in pain.
Just a fucking mess on your suspension.
A mess. So they find Labastide outside of his mom's house. So he goes rob somebody. And he's like, let's go hang out in front of my mom's house now. No one will notice. I guess he's trying to play it cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If he goes hiding, they know he did it.
Gonna go make dinner for my ma.
So, no, he's hanging out outside talking on the phone, just being a general Nick jerk-off out there. They pull up, and they shoot him 6 times.
Good for them.
They kill the Playboy. Leon the Playboy is no more. Aren't you kind of sad about that?
I am. It was so fast in our story.
I wanted the Playboy to last longer.
Him to stick around a little.
I did, too. The Playboy sounds like he'd give you some fun stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then he did this and that.
Right.
You're like, get him, Playboy.
He robbed somebody and died.
And then died. That's it. Robbed somebody, immediately retaliatory.
Rest in peace, sir.
Rest in peace, Leon Playboy.
We'll miss you.
And apparently Grant was heard in the neighborhood around bragging about it, boasting about it hours later. Because
I shot the Playboy.
That's what they shot him, so people would know that if you rob me, we'll shoot you. So
you will die.
That's why they're boasting, obviously.
Whether you look like you age or not, you will die.
You will die. Yeah, exactly. I wonder if British black people, do they age too? Do they not age either?
Apparently not.
I don't know. If they don't, you might need dairy in your diet to not age. So maybe they do age because apparently they have no dairy. Drink some milk, guys. Come on. Cheese stick. Just stick. You can. You can
string cheese is fantastic.
It's so good. You can carry it around with you.
It is delicious.
Let's do it. So he's heard bragging. Violence ensues in the neighborhood. A neighborhood erupts in violence.
Yeah.
tit for tat shootings, as they call it over there, because that sounds really also
sounds very British.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. So from this, now this, out of everything we've said, is the most uniquely British thing I've ever heard. Okay, a man named Sean Fusey Cephinus, we'll call him. He's a friend of Labastide, of the Playboy. He is accused, by Grant friends of Grant, he's upset that they killed his friends.
Sure.
So what he does is he starts sending typewritten letters.
Oh my God.
Threatening them.
Did he fax it?
Not even imagine that, though. And imagine an American gang. Picture Flint, Michigan, some gang, and they're like, they did what?
Yeah.
Man, where the fuck my typewriter?
Yo, get Pookie's email. I'm going to send that.
Bring MS Word up in this motherfucker. I don't care. Bring it up, because
hey, somebody get the one with the little paper clip to help me send this shit.
It's an old computer, man. Fuck you. All right, shipping tough since the plant closed. So I mean, imagine that.
That is awesome.
Typewritten letters out saying that he knows and blah blah blah, and it said, "You will not get away. The past will haunt you." Not, "Hey, motherfucker, you will not get away. The past will haunt you, sir." Like, he had to stop himself from writing
so
"sir"
elegant.
at the end, isn't it? That's the gangsters. That's what I mean. God damn it, I love that country.
And he typed it in like a smoking jacket.
Oh,
That's
awesome.
He
did, and he sat there and he thought about it. He had a pipe in his mouth.
With like one of those tall hats with the covers that come over the ears.
It was a very elegant proceeding. The whole thing was very elegant, I feel like.
Put on some tea. I must compose a draft.
I must compose a letter. And he's just...
That's incredible.
That's the most British thing I've ever heard in my life. I'm pissed at you for street murders based on drug robberies.
The past will haunt you.
I'm going to write him a strongly worded letter.
That's not even like a bad Yelp review.
No,
that's
not
very
even handwritten. I'm going to type it. Sir, he had to get out his type very angrily. I'm type.
I will wrap you across the mouth.
Indent.
Didn't even make a threat. It's just the past will haunt you.
That's it. Yeah, you will not get away. The past will haunt you. So, at this point, two gunmen who we don't know who these gunmen are because they are acquitted. The ones that are accused of this are acquitted. They go looking for Mr. Cephinus, the letter writer, the Shakespeare over here.
Dear John.
They go looking for Dear John here, and they shoot the wrong guy.
Oh, no.
They shoot a guy named Jamal Moore, who's some poor schmuck sitting in his car.
Yeah.
And they go, "Oh, there he is." And they open fire on this guy. They shoot him. He's riddled with gunfire. I think he got shot 4 times, this poor son of a bitch in his car. So they accuse Romaine White, the robbery victim who wiped out on the motorcycle. They accuse him and Gavin Grant of the crime. At this point, Gavin Grant's got a soccer career.
Yeah.
He played for fucking Tootie and whatever the hell, Tooting and Mitchum in 2005, the two stately gentlemen who owned the law firm.
Tweed.
2005, 2006, he played for Gillingham, and then 2006 through 2008, that's when he was with the Millwall organization with the Peter Taylor guy.
So he's acquitted of this shit.
So, and they're standing behind him, too, the team.
Wow.
The team is standing behind him. They say, quote, Millwall spokesman said, quote, "Gavin strenuously denies the charge. He is not in breach of his contract and continues to train." So he was playing with... Yeah, he was like on a lower level team playing still. And
just like, so you guys know, England, there's not a team in this country that would do that.
No, if
you
you're
guys
on trial
are fucking
for murder,
incredible. That's amazing.
If you're on trial, you don't even have to be on trial.
No.
If you get arrested because your girlfriend said you pushed her, you were out of the league for at least 4 games.
Adrian Peterson didn't play for...
He had his kid. Ray Rice knocked that girl out, his wife or whatever.
I mean, for all intents and purposes,
fine.
Adrian Peterson was living a life that's above board. It's legal to spank your child.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, he went above and beyond.
Especially in Texas.
Right.
Good God.
Oh, forget
it's almost required in Texas.
He admitted to hitting the child with a stick, and charges were dropped. Everything was fine.
Hernandez.
But he still didn't play football.
No, this is an Aaron Hernandez situation.
Right.
And Aaron Hernandez is dropped immediately.
Right. Under investigation. Police show up at his house.
Done.
Goodbye.
That's it.
Right.
Cut from the team. NFL says you're suspended until we figure this out.
Do your thing, man.
Good luck, buddy.
Until you're acquitted, you're out of this league.
But they stick by him. And it's like DeSouza. Something about us. Soccer talent must be really hard to come by. Because apparently, if you're a half-decent soccer player,
that's
you
amazing.
Can kill people, and they'll still wait until see how it comes out in court before they cut you.
Innocent until proven guilty is everywhere else. It is not here in America.
Not where it's supposed to be, and it's not. Right. So you guys actually...
You guys have real freedoms.
We're not saying to the UK this is a bad move. We're kind of
for it
with it, I guess. They're sticking by him at least till they're convicted.
Right.
At least stick by him. It's funny that he's getting a
Give
paycheck.
somebody the benefit of the doubt.
So, I mean... He signs with, like I said, he signs with these teams. Stonebridge at this point is under the transformation process, so he doesn't. It's not really the same as it used to be. They're cleaning up the favela.
Gentrification's coming.
If you want to know about favelas, listen to the Bruno Fernandez de Souza episode.
It's another soccer
5,
one.
I believe, or 6, whatever. So they investigate this whole thing here, and so they're acquitted of that crime, and they don't tie the Labastide, the Playboy shooting, to this right away.
Right.
This years go by.
So he gets to keep playing.
So think about this too. This happens in 2004, before 2005. This is before, he has something promising happening.
Right.
So he's doing this. He's just a street kid. He's doing gang shootings. He's doing all this. Then he gets signed to soccer teams.
Right. He's playing mid-level soccer at this point.
And he's moving up.
Yeah.
And he's signed, and Peter Taylor's got his back, and all these things are happening. He's got a middle-aged, silver-haired white man to get his back. He's ready to go. And this is all in his past, and then it's coming up to haunt him. He cleans up his life once he starts playing soccer, and he's out of Stonebridge.
Right. Cuts all the horse shit out of his life.
He cuts it out. He's playing soccer. He's, by all accounts, there's no stories of him getting picked up for bar fights or being a general dickbag and doing Jason Williams things, firing guns over people's heads in a parking lot, shooting limo drivers. None of this is coming up. He's fine.
He either puts it together or the shit gets buried.
But your past haunts you, man, because as that letter said...
He wasn't kidding.
No, as that very nice, strongly worded letter said, the past will haunt you, my friend. And it does. So the police realize, they start putting... This is later. This is 2007, after the trial, because the trial was 2007, the initial. They start putting it together that, that accident that White had was right outside Playboy's house.
Yeah.
And then the robbery was the next day. So they're like,
weird.
That's a really big coincidence.
That's way too coincidental.
There has to be something there. Let's look into that. Thought there might be a connection. Now here's where it gets fishy. This is the thing that is a little bit fishy, and there's an appeal later on. It's because of this.
Okay.
Remember the 16-year-old?
Yes.
Calcium calcium deficient 16-year-old jumping out of a window? Okay. They start saying, this is what the police say, that they think maybe she held some stuff back before.
All right.
They're not sure about it, but they're thinking...
16-year-olds tend to talk.
It's possible, but they're going, we feel like maybe she, years later, I still feel like she was holding something back. So they go find her. She's in like southwest London somewhere. They go find her. Basically... They call it new information in 2008 to reopen this case, because this new information comes from a rat or a grass, as they call it.
That's
in
what
England.
they call them there?
They call it a grass. A grass. When you say you're grassing, that's like ratting on somebody.
That's adorable.
So they get their own Joe Valachi, Sammy the Bull over there in a minute, which we'll get to. He is the new information. But anyway, they track this girl down. She, at this point, admits to hearing the three men plot the murder. Of Playboy.
You never have a minor in your kill squad.
Yes, remember? Bruno knows that.
Never put a minor in there. Yeah.
Stop it. So she heard that in the house, overheard it. So she says, and we'll get to where that's fishy later on also. So Horsley here, the investigator, the inspector, he says, quote, she was almost relieved that someone wanted to ask her. She had held it in since she was a girl of 16, which makes it sound like the whole thing was real mystical and nice and elegant.
She's tired of this limp and just wants to get
held her by the hand through like a foggy marsh and like the moors, and she had to come out and tell people. Sounds very like,
if I get this off my back, I'll stop limping.
A girl of 16. We gave her some milk and sent her on her way. So this comes back, and he's arrested for the Playboy shooting. Now he's arrested. Now, at this point, when he's arrested, because of this whole investigation, there is a guy who, oh, by the way, the 16-year-old, they don't give her out her real name, who she was, and they give her name Susan Norwich, okay? Now, the cops say they were, other cops, not Horsley, other cops said, they were surprised by the level of cooperation that she gave. They said it's kind of rare in these cases to get that, these like neighborhood gang cases. And Horsley said, quote, you can imagine you're a witness to a gun crime, and the people who have done it are seriously bad guys. You have to worry about your own safety, especially if you're from that community.
Sure.
We have to disclose names to the defense, and names will come out in court, but we do our best to protect people. So, but they're like, it's risky to do this. And police had bad luck with these cases because they have an idiot named Darren Matherin, okay? This guy is, quote, every single article about this calls him, quote, supergrass. A supergrass.
Oh, boy.
He's the first, like Joe Valachi was the mob, in case you're not a mob historian, was the mob guy. He was the first mob guy to flip and do the congressional hearings and unload about the whole thing.
Right.
This was the first, as they call it, they called it 100 times, black on black supergrass. So he was like the first big witness that would come out and rat on all the drug gangs, basically.
Wow.
That's who this guy is. So, but
What's the guy's name from Goodfellas?
Which one? The
rat.
Henry Hill.
Yeah, Henry Hill.
I thought you were
so
a different guy.
Henry Hill.
Like, what are we doing here? Let's get in. Are we getting into Goodfellas? Let's do it. That's my
Henry
favorite
Hill.
shit in the world. Let's get on. Let's get in on it. So he's the Henry Hill. But I mean, he's the first one. But most of his things probably bullshit is the problem. Also,
really,
he does a lot of bullshit.
It's like
he
my dad.
says, they end up convicting another guy for the Jamal Moore shooting, the mistaken identity shooting in the car. They convict another guy. They say that he did it. This Matherin guy, Supergrass, black on black Supergrass. That's a hell of a baseball card. Black on black Supergrass.
Sounds like a DJ.
It sounds like a cool like a blaxploitation cartoon.
Yeah. Sounds like a member of LMFAO.
It does. So, black on black Supergrass. He says that it really was Gavin Grant and the other guy in white that did it, not this other guy. So because of that, the guy convicted of the killing gets a retrial in 2009.
Oh, good for him.
But they don't believe Darren. They don't believe Supergrass at all.
We're not calling him Darren.
He's
Supergrass is so fun.
Black on black Supergrass. They don't believe him at all. So they reconvict this guy again.
I believe Supergrass.
I kind of believe Supergrass, but. Based on this, they go and they get this girl to try. They don't. He had also testified in a couple other trials. In all of them, the people walked because nobody believes this fucking guy, basically.
Wow.
They haven't. Over here, we've accepted, in America, we've accepted the rat witness.
Yeah.
The turncoat. But a lot of times they are lying for their own business. But
save their own skin.
and I think we were skeptical of them at first, and now that's what every crime is.
Yeah.
Get the co-conspirator to flip, and that's the only way you do it. So we just all go, yeah, whatever.
And sometimes it's not even that. It's just whoever you put your perp in prison with, whoever says Setley, you can get that guy, get him a lesser sentence for turning on that guy for whatever he blurts out in fucking jail.
Plus, I feel like over there they still have pride enough to where being a rat is not a okay thing over there still.
I feel
I think you're a shithead if you're a rat of any kind.
I feel like also in England, their prison system's probably not near as fucking horrible as ours.
It's probably not for profit, so probably not.
Right. That's a good point.
Yeah. It's probably
private for profit.
We have for-profit prisons. So, I mean, clearly,
we have a business.
Shit's going to go awry, and people are going to get arrested. That's
a good point.
That's a whole thing. There, it's probably are people that are, and also too the way they do their. I love studying their legal system.
If you're in the UK and you want to know how bad our system is, start watching Frontline or like Lockup or some shit. And seriously delve into how bad our prison system is.
True.
I feel like yours is probably nicer.
It probably is.
And a lot better architecture, too.
Yeah. Yes. So they try these guys for the Playboy murders, and they are acquitted the first time. Or not acquitted, they're not convicted the first time. It was a hung jury type thing, mistrial. So they have another trial in 2010. And this one, they're going to not have Supergrass testify, but they are going to have the girl, 16-year-old, that overheard
calcium
them.
Deficient.
And that's going to come back big time also. The calcium-deficient girl limps into the courtroom, peeling away a cheese stick, saying she's learned her lesson. The defense, in the press said whatever he did in the past, he had his life turned around by the time the murder case was resurrected. So they're basically going, look, whether he did it or not, he's good now.
Right, every 4 games he's kicking goals, you guys.
I'm good now. It's just every guy is, I'm good now.
Yeah.
And they were like, come on, look at him. He's a model citizen now. I mean, sure, he might have killed somebody 5 years ago, but that's 5 years ago. No one remembers that.
That's hilarious.
Who knows what happened 5 years ago? Anyone could have killed anyone. Like
Robert Rozier's like, look, this is me. I'm different.
Yeah, these guys just don't get that murder doesn't go away.
No.
Murder stays murder.
They don't come back to life.
No.
You don't get to walk, motherfucker.
And especially over there, if you do it with a gun, I feel like that's extra.
Right.
That is some extra bad shit they don't want to deal with. So, God, I love this guy, this Supergrass. He's so funny.
He's the best. I want to hang out with him.
He's in so many different. He's testifying all over the place. They basically got this guy in exchange for a reduced sentence, like we do. They're like, you're going to testify against everybody, basically. You're going to down the whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
And he's doing it, and nobody believes him. So, this guy...
He's like, I'll tell you guys everything. They're like, that's too much.
Whatever, dude. We
don't embellish it.
So
no, that's what happened. No, that's not right.
So bad, Supergrass. Good Christ.
Like my dad's stories are just like that, where it's just like, tell me a cool story. And then he tells me a cool story, and I'm like, I don't believe a fucking word of it.
No, don't believe you.
None of it.
Supergrass.
Yeah. That's probably what it is. He ends all his fucking stories with Supergrass.
Yeah, Supergrass.
Like double fingers.
Yeah.
A wink in the gun.
And poor old Roberto Parchment, the guy who was convicted of the more mistaken identity killing here, he had his retrial in 2009, and I kind of believe the guy also, too. I mean, it sounds like they were probably involved, the other two, but we don't know that. But anyway, he said he's ordered to... No, they gave him a 28-year to life sentence.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, that's good. No, you can keep that. That didn't get a sentence reduced to anything.
Shit.
They just went, keep on. Carry on, sir.
Enjoy your day.
And they wrote him a nice typewritten letter telling him that shit will come back to haunt him.
The past will haunt you.
So, at the trial, they apparently make a big deal about this motorcycle. There's a motorcycle involved, and motorcycle helmets, the fact that they wear motorcycle helmets, and... There's a motorcycle seen at the crime scene.
Right.
That's also had been seen outside Gavin Grant's house.
All right.
And then he is pulled over driving this motorcycle 2 months later.
What's so specific about this goddamn motorcycle?
I don't know, but it's apparently but he's pulled over on this motorcycle that is described.
There's apparently only one of them in the world.
Apparently, I don't know if it's like purple with like green polka dots and it's wild or wacky, but... So he's pulled over, and he gives a false name when he's pulled over too. So they're showing that he's trying to distance himself from this motorcycle. He doesn't want this motorcycle to be linked to him because of that. So during the trial at the closing, the defense, all they talk about is basically all the prosecution has is a motorcycle. All they're talking about is motorcycles and motorcycle helmets. Right. Apparently 80% of the trial was about this motorcycle and connecting this motorcycle to them, and that means they killed him.
Right.
Which, who the fuck knows? It's real. That's loosey-goosey. And we're also going to find out another little loosey-goosey detail in a minute here. So yeah, the motorcycle...
I love when you get excited.
It's fun. I like this because... I like when there's trouble brewing, and I like when things are off, and I like it when it's not clear. I like it when we're like, I don't know what happened here.
When it's muddled.
But this shit's muddled. This shit is cloudy and it's muddy, and I don't want... So, back to Inspector Steve Horsley here.
Yes.
He says, quote, Grant thought he'd gotten away with murder. He carried on his football career with blood on his hands, which is basically what happened. And, oh, God, he thought... I mean, think about it. He's acquitted of murder. And then he goes back to playing soccer. He thought...
It was over.
That's
done.
it.
Yeah.
Acquitted of murder. That shit happened. Think about something you did 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Imagine if you had to suffer consequences.
And I got to pay for that shit
for
now.
something dumb you did 5 years ago. Like, imagine you did something stupid. You fucking screwed around your wife or something for one time 5 years ago, and now it came back. You'd be like, but I don't even remember how good it felt.
Right.
That's not fair. You should only be able to get in trouble for something in the time that you still remember why it was good that you did it in the first place.
OJ was acquitted, and then fucking civil trial was convicted.
Yeah, it'd be, that's a roller coaster right there. So, I mean, he's on this thing, acquitted, yay, everything's good. Hey, I'm going to be a soccer star. Peter Taylor, he's got my back, everything's good. Fuck. Goddamn, fucking calcium
Playboy.
deficient British women, because we're going to get to that. They get convicted, all three of them convicted.
Wow.
Grant is convicted of murder. Gareth Downey is convicted of murder. They both received 25 years. They were life sentence with a minimum of 25 years.
Wow.
So that is, you're nothing until 25 years.
They got 20 to go.
So, yeah, I mean, he's going to be, that's 51 when he's 25 years in. Gavin Grant will be 51. And Damian Williams gets conspiracy to commit murder because they believe that he put them up to it. And he gets 25 to life as well. As they're leaving...
He may as well have killed the guy.
He may as well have killed the guy. They said Gavin Grant was seen weeping and...
I can imagine.
When he was taken out of court. Williams raised his fist to his supporters and said, quote, "Fight." That's what he said. Fight. Fight what? You shot a rival drug dealer outside his fucking house. What are we fighting for? This isn't a political cause. You're not saving the children.
God save the Queen.
He's
Fight.
acting like he was fighting for equal rights, and he got hauled in there against his. He's just trying to fight for the freedom of the people. You shot a drug dealer that robbed your cousin, who got in a motorcycle accident, and got robbed and had his sister break her leg because she doesn't drink enough milk. What the fuck do you want from me? Awful. So
they're all so confused.
I don't know what's going on. So Horsley again, Inspector Horsley says, quote, "Because he hadn't made it with Watford," I don't know what the hell Watford is. I don't know where that plays into the whole thing. Oh, that was what he signed with in the beginning.
That was a team,
his,
right.
That was his kid schoolboy term team. Okay. Because he... Jesus. This is what we have to remember. I'm looking at soccer teams here. Because he hadn't made it with Watford, he went back to Stonebridge and hung around with friends and family there and got into the wrong things. Then after the shooting, he tried to get himself out of it. Exactly. Obvious. Fucking thank you.
Figured kicking goals was the way.
I mean, it's so tough. I mean, now he's convicted, and now there's dead people everywhere.
Right.
Dead people all over the place.
Bodies laying around. Chicks with broken legs.
Broken leg girls laying. There's guys in cars.
Motorcycles laying on their side.
Aren't even the right guy. There's polite letters being shuffled all about. You know what I mean? It's very interesting, and I feel bad for all these people. I even kind of feel bad for these three guys because I don't even know if they did it, but I don't feel nearly as bad for them. I'm already
weeping because it's so much fun.
As I feel for poor Gavin Grant, the San Diego area real estate agent.
No.
Who claims his background of also being an architect helps him bring, quote, "a unique perspective to residential real estate sales."
He's got his signs all over town.
All over town. Also, poor Gavin Grant, attorney for Forcier Grant firm, specializing in family law, criminal defense, and civil litigation in the Ontario, Canada area. That guy's got to be fucked, because if you search Gavin Grant legal, you're definitely getting
hit. You're coming up with him.
These guys are on page 1. This is not deep in the thing. Yeah. So if you're searching for these guys, you're getting murdering soccer player. Oh, there's my real estate agent. I hope he didn't kill anybody.
And my lawyer.
I feel so bad for Gavin Grant, the publisher of Small Beer Press. He wrote for the LA Times, Christian Science Monitor, and publishes a twice-yearly zine called Lady Churchill's Rosebud Wristlet. So that poor son of a bitch.
Twice-yearly zine.
Zine, yeah. He writes a shitty, dirty, fucking pulpy magazine about a fucking... And also, too, poor Gavin, because if you search Gavin Grant football... you will get this poor high school student,
poor kid.
Gavin Grant, is a high school kid that plays American football at Northview High School in Bratt, Florida. 6'1", 180 quarterback in his junior season. I watched some of his highlights. The kid's got heart. I got to be honest with you. But he lives
in Florida. He's going to fuck it up.
Poor son of a bitch has heart. Oh, he'll have a meth problem. He's robbing people blind of their prescription drugs in no time. But
he's raiding his fucking friends' parents' medicine cabinets already.
This poor bastard has a good future in front of him. And he's linked to this guy. So don't search Gavin Grant. If you're looking for Gavin Grant, the football kid in Florida, be very specific about it. High school quarterback, Gavin Grant. And guys, I swear to Christ, I could go on for 20 minutes with these extra people because I had to sift through them to find this. This is not a well-covered story.
That's crazy.
I guess because he wasn't huge when it was going on, so they didn't think to cover it. Either that or fucking press over there is lazy because
soccer and they try to just stifle it and get it out of the way.
I don't know if it's that. I know over there's slander laws are huge, so you can't write the wrong thing. You'll get sued. Whereas over here, you can write anything
willy-nilly.
Because I know
TMZ makes a living off of it.
Stars here will sue British papers for saying the same shit that American tabloids say, but we can't get away with it here because it's whatever. It's
free press,
a public figure, freedom of speech. You can say whatever.
Somebody
you want
said it. We can write it.
Yeah, you can't say they killed somebody, but you can say this person, we think they fucked a dog last week, and like that's fine. In Britain, you actually have to prove they fucked a dog.
Right. We found a Trojan with dog fur and their semen in it.
We're gonna call it a day at this point.
They fucked the golden retriever.
So 2014 comes around. There's high school quarterbacks being accused of horrible things now because of this whole problem, and Gareth Downey's attorney takes something to court and is granted permission to appeal to get the sentence overturned.
What the
fuck? Based on the fact that these three judges, that's how they do this whole thing, 3 magistrates, 3 justices at the appeals court gave them permission after stating their, quote, concerns based on some of the thing. The judge said, quote, "We do not wish to say more at this stage other than the material that has not been disclosed gives us some concerns. We do believe, therefore, that it is right in these circumstances to give permission for appeal." The prosecution...
New evidence.
Yeah, and they're also, all 3 of them are granted legal aid to get, better lawyers.
Funding.
To get lawyers. Yeah, because they have no money left, obviously. So they apparently did not disclose the fact that our 16-year-old calcium-deficient girl testified in exchange for helping out with her drug charges that she has.
Oh, this bitch.
So that's a problem.
Yeah.
And that's something that needs to be known ahead of time.
Yeah.
If this person has a reason to
Give
lie.
Give credible reason.
Especially when you're like, it's so odd that people come forward, that someone would come forward with that much information in this kind of case. That normally doesn't happen.
She's so forthcoming.
She's
That's
such
crazy.
an honest kid.
Right.
Or she's got a hardcore drug problem and she doesn't really want to go to jail.
She wants help.
Mm-hmm. So it's not. So here, it's Susan Norwich, quote unquote, Susan Norwich, was given a reduction of her drug sentence to testify. The justice in the end, in their ruling, said the misbehavior of the police might have created a distraction. Basically, she says, I'm going to cut to the chase here. She says, Susan Norwich's credibility by explicit reference to the text or circumstances existing when she gave evidence and the possibility of police assistance in relation to a sentence for her drug offending. This is some British shit.
Wow.
The broad consistency of her evidence remained compelling. Consequently, these appeals against the conviction are dismissed. In other words, you 3, go fuck yourselves.
Deal with your 25 to life.
25 to life.
Yeah.
Eat a dick, fellas. And they remain eating a dick in jail. Also, too, this is a fun fact.
That is such an eloquent... In America, it would just say, appeals dismissed. That's it. We are not good with your language. You people invented this shit and
so
clearly are masters at it.
It's so much better.
That is gorgeous.
Our judges would have said some bullshit tough guy stance.
Yeah, he would have fucked with him right to their face.
I'm going to tell you, in all my years, boy, I seen them come before me, but I ain't never seen 3. It would have been some horse shit like that.
And every judge has some shit in their personal life that they relate it to that.
Here, eloquent legal dissertation on the reason why you can go fuck yourself. It's beautiful. You could almost go, she did have a point there. She makes sense. That judge, I don't want to go back to jail, but what she said is true. I can't lie. I can't argue with that. That's solid logic. So they said when Grant and his friends were arrested, originally the shootings in the area went down by 50%.
Wow.
Because that was
just them.
Just because I feel like Williams was probably the kind of
ringleader
just kind of pushing a lot of this drug shit going on.
Calling some shots.
Yeah, it's fucked. So, they're sitting in here. Supergrass is probably out by now.
I love that
I think he got a reduced sentence. But Gavin Grant, these fellas here, and they're 21. Gavin Grant has 21 goals and 88 appearances. He's shit out of luck.
Yeah.
He's sitting in a fucking in a British prison right now. I don't know what a British prison is like, but it can't be.
It can't
fun.
be great.
It can't be better than playing soccer for a living. I would imagine.
It's probably making little rocks out of big rocks. That's probably it.
It is, man, and it's interesting. Like I said before, too, we are so sorry about our lack of soccer knowledge.
Yeah.
But we really just don't know shit about soccer. And one thing you're never going to get from us is bullshit.
Yeah.
Like when it's something about something we know. We'll tell you we know about it.
Give you everything we got.
Give you all we got. If it's something we don't know, we're not going to be like bullshit journalists and pretend like, oh, well, I know soccer now. No, we don't know it. We're comedians. We studied it as best we can. I focused on the case more than soccer. And I'm sorry if you don't. I did my fucking best.
What I know most about soccer is that you guys call them matches, and when it is 1-0, it is 1-0. That's about all I know.
And it looks exciting.
There's a lot of nil
even
used
though nothing is happening.
Right.
It looks super exciting, even though it's literally two white guys staring at each other, going, I might go this way in the 100 yards of open space, or that way in the 100 yards of open space.
Tons of sweating, because that's a lot of running.
It's a lot of running. Yeah, too much cardio. I can't deal with that. It's too much.
I hate going to the gym and doing cardio myself. Watching other people do it.
It's a very fluid sport. It's like
it looks fun though.
Yeah, it
looks fun. And watching Beckham be amazing with a soccer ball.
Oh, that's incredible. And that's probably there's probably guys over there that are killing it right now that we don't know shit about. Right. And Beckham's 40 years old. He's probably not doing much anymore.
He probably doesn't even play.
I think he played in MLS over here for a while, for Christ's sake, didn't he?
I think he owned some indoor league or some shit.
Yeah, it was some publicity stunt, I'm sure. He married a Spice Girl.
Right.
Tell that, by the way.
Invested in a John Bon Jovi restaurant or some shit.
David Beckham, if you're listening, which I'm sure you are, obviously, do yourself a favor. Get your girlfriend, the Spice Girl, Posh Spice, give her a cup of milk. Just give her a little milk. Because I'm just going to tell you right now, if you guys have to run anywhere, those leg bones are brittle. They will snap.
And she's got some stems. They're skinny and long.
She's on heels.
Those are fragile.
Oh, they could still look like Joe Theismann with a compound, with a bone sticking out. Let's not have that happen to this poor girl. You know what I mean? Let her be. So that is Gavin Grant, guys, and I'm sorry. The one thing I have to apologize for also is that there is no quotes from Gavin Grant. I swear to God, I scoured everything looking for a quote from this guy. Nothing.
That's crazy.
Nothing about the case.
That's so weird.
Not, I'm sorry, not I didn't do it, or I just want to get back to play. Nothing. There's just not a damn quote from this guy.
So weird.
So I got no in their own words for you this week, which I'm very depressed about. But we did give you our mistaken identities there, our LinkedIn and otherwise mistaken identities. Gave you a couple extra.
Hung with those.
But so, I mean, that's Gavin Grant. I mean, that's that. Thanks for listening. Also, too, definitely check out Thursday, in 2 days from now, the Ryan Leaf Draft Day special.
Debacle.
And if you know dick about, if you're listening overseas or whatever, you don't know anything about football, doesn't matter.
Doesn't
Guy's
matter.
A complete idiot. That's fucking hilarious.
If you know anything about pills and drugs, you're going to love it.
If you're listening from overseas, know what you think of as like an idiot, arrogant, like dumb shit American. That we're like, that's not really how we are. That's how this guy is. So it's fun.
That's everything Ryan Leaf.
We're gonna skewer him. And if you're a football fan like we are, as you know, he's a complete jerk off and the biggest NFL draft bust
ever.
Especially as a quarterback. Jesus. And so we're going to get into that, and we're going to have just so much fun. He didn't kill anybody.
No.
But he did a lot of stupid shit, so it's just going to be a fun, light, really good time.
Lots of crime.
So join us on Thursday. Thank you so much. Follow us on our social media, please. All you guys. And Jimmy said, yeah, man, I'll do it. Yeah, you're already fine. I think you follow us, right?
Let's go.
Jimmy's on board, guys. If Jimmy's on board, you guys get on board. Come on. So, on Twitter, we are at Crime and Sports. We are crimeinsports@gmail.com if you want to send us a line, and we are facebook.com/crimeandsports if you want to follow us there. Jimmy, hit him with your info.
At Whisman Sucks, Whisman Sucks. That's on Twitter and Instagram. Jimmy Whisman, Jimmie, Whisman.
Wow, he's got that down. And I am at Jimmy P is funny, and Jimmy is regular spelling, Jimmy. At Jimmy P is funny on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook if you can figure out how to spell my goddamn name and all that. So thank you so much. Ryan Leaf this week, Thursday, and next week we'll have another scummy murder for you. I think I have a story that you guys are going to love because it's just one of these twisted stories that is every time you think it's over, another thing comes out. And
let's
not
give the name just in case.
I'm not going to do it.
Okay, no teasers this time.
But
That's enough
really
teaser.
Feel like this story is going to be the one.
I love scummy shit, though.
We'll make sure I'm going to do a full investigation, and if it's got as much fun as I think it's going to be, then we're in. And otherwise, I'll find another hideous, horrible human being to have fun with.
Yeah, man.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. Join us on Thursday for the special, and thanks again. Have a good one, guys. See you next week.
Bye.
If you like Crime and Sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.